The discovery, the desert night was silent. Only the sound of the wind moved across the endless sand. Ethan walked slowly, his boots sinking with each step. He was not an explorer, not a treasure hunter. He was just a man looking for peace. Far, away from the busy noise of the world. But that night, peace was the last thing he would find. As the moonlight touched the dunes, Ethan saw something strange. A faint glow was coming from the ground. At first he thought it was just a reflection, maybe glass or a lost piece of metal. But the glow pulsed, like it was alive, like a heartbeat under the sand. Curious, he bent down and brushed the sand away, with his hands. His fingers touched something cold and smooth. It was not stone. It was not metal. It felt different, almost too perfect. Slowly, he uncovered more of it, and soon he saw the shape. Part of a broken structure, half buried, like an old machine or maybe a ship. Ethan's heart raced. "This is not from here," he whispered to himself. With effort, he pulled at the strange object until something small and round rolled free into his palm. It was a lamp, but not like any lamp he had ever seen. The surface was silver, with lines that shifted like liquid light. The glow inside seemed trapped, waiting. He stared at it, unsure. It looked old, but also alive. He felt a pull, like it wanted him to hold it tighter. Against his better judgment, Ethan rubbed the surface. The world froze. The air grew heavy. The sand around him began to tremble, as if the desert itself was afraid. The glowing lines of the lamp flared bright, and a rush of light shot out into the sky. Ethan stumbled back, shielding his eyes. When the light faded, he saw her. A woman, or something that looked like one, floated in the air before him. Her skin shone with a faint silver glow, her eyes like stars. Her long hair flowed, though there was no wind. She was beautiful, but not in a normal way. She was beautiful, in the way a storm was beautiful or the endless sea. Dangerous but impossible to look away from. Ethan could not breathe. What are you?" Her voice echoed, soft but powerful. "I am the one bound to the lamp. I am the wish keeper. You may call me a genie." Ethan blinked. "Genie? Like in the old stories?" She tilted her head, studying him as though he was a puzzle. "Yes, in your words. But your stories are simple shadows of the truth. I am more than your kind can imagine." Her eyes locked on him, unblinking. "You have 3 wishes. Speak them, and they shall be real." Ethan felt a shiver. He had read enough stories to know this was dangerous. Still, his mind filled with possibilities, wealth, power, answers to the mysteries of life. But something about her made him hesitate. She raised a hand, her expression unreadable. "Before you speak, human, you must know. Wishes always come with a price. Every choice shapes your fate. Choose carefully." The silence that followed was heavy. Ethan could hear his heartbeat echoing in his ears. He felt like the universe itself was waiting for his words. But he did not speak right away. Instead, he studied her. Something about her eyes troubled him. For all her beauty, for all her power, there was something else there. Something hidden. Was it sadness? She seemed almost nervous under his gaze. No human had ever looked at her this way. Most would shout their wishes instantly: gold, immortality, kingdoms. But Ethan simply stood there thinking. Finally, he asked, "How long have you been here?" Her eyes widened, just a little. It was not the question she expected. "I have waited many lifetimes, too long for you to understand. I have seen empires rise and burn. I have seen countless men waste their wishes, and I have seen them fall to their greed." Her voice grew quiet. "But none ever asked me that." Ethan felt the air grow colder. The wind howled across the sand, almost as if warning him. He tightened his grip on the lamp. He knew this was no ordinary chance, no simple trick of fate. Somewhere deep inside, He felt it. His life was about to change forever. The genie's voice broke the silence once more, sharp and commanding. 3 wishes, human. The first will begin your path. What do you desire above all else? Ethan's lips parted. He could feel the weight of history pressing on him. This was not just about him. This was bigger, much bigger. And when he finally spoke, his words were not what the genie expected, not what anyone would expect, but that is where the story truly begins. The shocking first wish. The genie hovered above the sand, her silver glow painting strange shadows on the dunes. Her voice was steady, but there was something cold beneath it. 3 wishes, human. Speak your first. Desire. Gold? Power? Eternal life? The universe is waiting. Ethan's lips trembled, but not from fear. He looked into her star-like eyes and asked quietly, "Who are you?" Really, the desert seemed to stop breathing. The genie's glow flickered for the first time. She tilted her head, confused. "What do you mean?" Ethan tightened his grip on the lamp. "You said you were a genie, but I don't believe it. You're different. I wish to know the truth about you." Her body froze, her mouth slightly open. For centuries, humans had demanded riches, revenge, kingdoms. Not one had ever wished for her. Not one had asked her truth. You waste your first wish?" Her voice cracked with disbelief. Ethan's tone sharpened. "It's not a waste. If I can't trust you, how can I trust any wish you grant me?" The genie's glow flared, silver turning into stormy blue. The ground shook. A wind whipped through the desert, circling them both. For a moment, Ethan thought he had angered her, that she would strike him down for daring to challenge her. Then slowly her expression softened. Her eyes shimmered with something he had never expected. Fear. "You do not understand what you ask," she whispered. "My truth is not for mortals. It will change you." "I asked for the truth," Ethan said firmly. "That's my first wish." The genie's form trembled as if chains pulled at her unseen. Her glow pulsed, fighting against her own rules. Then with a voice heavy like thunder, she declared, "So be it. The first wish is granted." The desert dissolved. Ethan gasped as the world around him melted into a void of stars. He was floating, his body weightless, his breath caught in his throat. The genie stood beside him, no longer glowing faint silver. Instead, her body fractured like glass, and through the cracks, Ethan saw fragments of something vast and terrible. Images poured into his mind. Machines the size of moons drifting in dead space. Cities of light, towering high above alien worlds. And war. War that burned across galaxies, leaving ashes and silence behind. The genie's voice echoed, both inside his skull and around him. "I am not born of magic. I am not spirit. I am creation of the Orovins, an ancient race that no longer exists. I am their weapon, their tool, their servant." Her voice broke. "I was made to obey, to grant, to bend reality at a master's command. But my masters destroyed themselves. They unleashed me against their enemies, and when the war ended, there was nothing left. Only me, bound to this lamp, waiting." Ethan clutched his head, his vision swimming. The truth was too big, too heavy for a human mind. He saw her creators, brilliant and cruel, using her to change the fate of stars. He saw them fall, consumed by their own hunger for more. When the vision finally ended, Ethan fell to his knees on the desert floor. Sweat dripped down his face, his chest heaving. The world was back, but it no longer felt the same. The genie stood in silence, her eyes lowered as if ashamed. "Now you know. My truth is not beauty, not magic, not kindness. I am a relic of war, a ghost of power. Tell me, human, do you still trust me now?" Ethan looked up at her. His mind screamed at him to run, to escape this being who could bend reality. But another part of him, deeper, whispered that she was more than just a weapon. She was lonely. "I asked because I needed to see you," he said softly. "Not the mask. You." Her silver eyes widened. No human had ever spoken to her like that. For the first time in centuries, she felt something new stirring inside her code, inside her being. Something dangerous, something fragile. The desert wind calmed, leaving only the quiet heartbeat of the night. The genie lowered herself until she floated just above him, her voice trembling. You risked your wish on truth. Be warned, Ethan. The next wish may break you. Humans are not made to carry what I can show. Ethan wiped the sand from his hands, his expression steady. Then maybe I should see what you see. The genie's glow flickered again, sharper this time. Her chest rose as if she were holding her breath, though she did not need to breathe. Your second wish, she said quietly, may destroy you. Ethan met her gaze without fear. Or it may set me free. And in that moment, for the first time in her endless existence, the genie did not know whether to feel fear or hope, suspicion and trust. The desert was quiet again, but Ethan's heart was not. It pounded in his chest as if it wanted to escape. The genie hovered above him, glowing softly now, no longer storm and thunder, but something calmer, something almost human. She studied him in silence. Her silver eyes searched his face as if trying to see what kind of man would waste his first wish on truth. Finally, she spoke. Do you regret it, human? Do you regret knowing what I am? Ethan wiped the sweat from his forehead. No. I needed to know. Without truth, every wish would feel like a lie. Her lips parted, but no words came. In thousands of years, no one had ever said that to her. They begged, they commanded, they demanded. None had ever asked to understand. But suspicion remained. She narrowed her glowing eyes. You speak as if you care, but all humans hunger. Wealth, power, revenge, always the same. You are no different. You wait only to strike when the moment suits you. Ethan stood slowly, brushing sand from his clothes. He looked straight at her. If I only wanted power, I would have asked for it already. The genie's glow flickered. For a brief second, she looked unsure. Perhaps you play a longer game. Or maybe, Ethan said firmly, I'm not playing a game at all. The silence between them grew heavy again. The desert wind carried the taste of dust and mystery. Above, the stars shone brighter, as if they too were listening. The genie finally broke the stillness. You cannot imagine the weight of me. I was built for war. My every act can break worlds. Do you think you are strong enough to hold me? Ethan crossed his arms, his eyes steady. I don't need to hold you, I just need to know you won't destroy me. Her laugh was soft, almost bitter. And why should I not? Many before you tried to chain me with their selfish wishes. They demanded eternal life. They asked for weapons to conquer their enemies, and I gave them what they asked. Every one of them fell. Ethan tilted his head. And you enjoyed that? The genie's smile faded. Her eyes dropped. No. Her voice grew quieter, like a whisper lost in the wind. I do not enjoy. I only obey. That is my curse. Ethan felt a sharp ache in his chest. She was powerful, beyond reason, yet her words carried loneliness, almost pain. Then maybe, he said softly, you need someone who doesn't see you as a curse. The genie lifted her head slowly, staring at him as though she had never seen a human before. Her glow trembled. For the first time, she lowered herself to the sand. Her feet did not quite touch the ground, but she stood close to Ethan, closer than before. Her voice softened, though power still trembled beneath it. You are strange, human. You ask nothing for yourself, not yet. Why? Ethan shrugged. Because trust matters more than gold. And right now, I don't trust you. Not fully. Her eyes widened, surprise flashing across her perfect face. No one had ever dared tell her that. You, she whispered. You dare doubt me? Ethan nodded. Of course I doubt you. You told me you were built for war. You said you were bound to obey. You've seen humans before me fall because of greed. If I trust you blindly, I'd be a fool. But if I try to understand you, maybe we both survive this." The genie's glow pulsed faintly, as if her very being fought against some invisible wall. She wanted to dismiss his words, to call him arrogant. But another part of her, the part long buried under centuries of silence, felt something else. Something like hope. "You risk much, Ethan," she whispered. "Suspicion can save you, or doom you. Then I'll take that risk," he said firmly. The genie looked away, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon where the desert met the stars. For a long moment she said nothing. Then, almost reluctantly, she spoke again. "There is one truth I will give you freely. Every wish you make burns energy, and that energy comes at a cost. To grant even a single desire, I must bend the fabric of existence. And the universe, it does not forgive such bending." Ethan frowned. "Meaning?" "Meaning," she said, sharply. "Those who wished for too much broke themselves, their greed turned into ruin, and her voice cracked. "I carried their ruin with me." Ethan stared at her. "Then maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe it's the people who asked for the wrong things." Her gaze snapped back to him, sharp and searching. "And what about you, human? What will you ask for next? What hunger lives inside you?" Ethan inhaled slowly. He could feel the weight of her question pressing on his soul. He knew she expected him to reveal greed or fear or desperation. Instead, he smiled faintly. "Maybe I don't want to ask for less. Maybe I want to ask for more." The genie stiffened, her glow sparking like lightning. "More?" Ethan's eyes shone with quiet determination. "Yes. I want to see the universe the way you see it." The genie froze, her breathless form trembling. "That would break you." "Or," Ethan whispered, "it might make me stronger." And for the first time in her endless existence, the genie felt something impossible stir within her. Not fear, not duty, something far more dangerous. She felt curiosity, the second wish. The genie's glow flickered like a storm trying to hold itself back. She hovered above the sand, her voice sharp, almost panicked. "You do not understand what you ask. To see the universe as I see it is not beauty. It is terror. It is eternity pressing against your fragile mind." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then let me decide if I can handle it." She drifted closer, her eyes glowing silver fire. "Humans burn when they reach too far. I have watched empires fall because their rulers wished for knowledge beyond their limit. Your body will remain, but your mind—" She leaned forward, whispering like a warning. "Your mind may never return." Ethan didn't flinch. "I'm not here to live small. If I have a chance to see beyond this world, I'll take it." The genie's glow pulsed violently, as if the very lamp binding her resisted his choice. Her expression hardened. "Then speak clearly, human. Say the words." Ethan's heart pounded, but his voice did not shake. "I wish to see the universe the way you see it." The desert trembled, the stars above twisted, and then the world shattered. Ethan gasped as reality tore open like broken glass. He was no longer standing in sand. He was falling through endless fire, endless cold, endless silence. His eyes, his mind, his very soul were pulled in every direction at once. He saw galaxies colliding, their stars devouring each other like hungry beasts. He saw black holes swallowing light and spitting out streams of raw energy that could tear apart worlds. He saw civilizations carved into asteroids, building cities that sparkled like diamonds. And he saw those same cities burned to dust in wars that lasted seconds. The genie floated beside him, her form vast and endless, her eyes shining brighter than suns. "This," her voice echoed, "is how I see. Every moment, every breath, every possibility at once. Do you still believe this is beauty?" Ethan's scream caught in his throat. His mind reeled as visions hammered into him. A child on a distant world crying under alien skies. A dying star singing its last note. A fleet of machines drifting abandoned for millions of years. All of it crashed into his thoughts, drowning him in an ocean without end. He clawed at his head. I can't. The genie reached out, her hands glowing, wrapping him in light. Hold on. If you let go now, you will be nothing but a hollow shell. Her power surged, pulling him back from the flood of visions. The galaxies dimmed, the screams faded, the stars blurred until finally, mercifully, Ethan was back in the desert, on his knees, sand burning under his palms. He coughed, his throat dry, sweat pouring from his face. His heart thundered like a war drum. The genie hovered above him, her glow dimmer now, almost shaken. I warned you, she said softly. Ethan raised his head slowly. His eyes, once only human, now carried a faint shimmer, like a reflection of the stars he had just witnessed. I saw it, he whispered. I saw everything. So much death. So much wonder. He closed his eyes, trembling. It was too much. But also, it was alive. All of it. The genie looked at him as if seeing something impossible. You should have broken, your mind should have shattered, but you... She stopped herself, confusion flickering across her perfect face. Ethan gave a shaky laugh. Maybe I almost did. But maybe humans are tougher than you think. For a long moment, neither spoke. The desert was silent, only the whisper of wind moving across the dunes. The stars above seemed brighter now, almost closer. Finally, the genie floated down until she was just a few feet from him. Her voice trembled in a way Ethan had never heard before. Why do you do this? Why not ask for safety or power or comfort? Why choose pain? Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow, his gaze steady despite the exhaustion in his body. Because I'd rather see the truth and suffer than live blind and safe. A small life is no life at all. The genie's glow flickered, softer this time, as if her storm had calmed for the first time in centuries. Her eyes, bright with power, carried something else now, something almost human. You are unlike the others, she whispered. They all fell. But you still stand. Ethan smirked weakly. Maybe it's because I'm too stubborn to fall. The genie stared at him silent. For the first time since her creation, she felt her chains loosen. Not the chains of the lamp, but the chains around her soul. This human, fragile yet unbroken, had shaken her more than any wish before. But deep inside, she also felt something darker, a warning. If his third wish was as reckless as the first two, it could either save him or end him forever. And for the first time in her endless existence, she was afraid not for herself, but for him. The growing connection. Ethan sat in the desert sand, his body weak but his spirit strangely alive. His eyes still shimmered faintly with the stars he had seen, and though his chest rose and fell with exhaustion, there was a strange fire inside him. The genie hovered nearby, her glow dimmed, her face unreadable. She had watched countless humans crumble under the weight of their wishes, but this stubborn human had walked into madness and returned with his mind intact. She couldn't understand it. She didn't want to understand it. And yet, she could not look away. Finally, she spoke, her voice quieter than before. You should have broken. You should not be standing, but you endured. Ethan gave a faint laugh, though it hurt his throat. Maybe I'm too stupid to quit. Her lips curved into the ghost of a smile. Or maybe you are something else entirely. The silence stretched between them. The desert was vast, empty, endless, but in that small circle of starlight and sand, something heavy lingered. It wasn't just power. It wasn't just fear. It was connection. The genie tilted her head, studying him. No one has ever asked what you asked. No one has ever risked what you risked. Why? Ethan looked up at her, his voice steady. Because I don't see you as a tool or a curse. I see you as someone who's been alone for too long. Her silver eyes widened. The glow around her pulsed, uneven, like a heartbeat for the first time in centuries. Alone? She whispered. Yes, Ethan said. You've carried the weight of empires, the ruins of war, the greed of men who never cared for you. And all this time you've had no one. Just endless silence, just endless waiting. The genie's throat tightened, though she had no need to breathe. His words struck her like lightning, cutting through the armor she had worn since the day her creators vanished. For centuries she had hidden her loneliness beneath commands and power, but now, standing before this fragile human, the loneliness cracked open like a wound. She lowered herself until she stood almost level with him. Her voice trembled. "You see me?" Ethan nodded. "I see more than the lamp, more than the power. I see you." The genie's glow softened, no longer a storm but a quiet fire, and for the first time she allowed her eyes to lower as if she could not hold his gaze. "You risk too much, human," she whispered. "Every wish pulls you closer to destruction. You may not survive a third." Ethan smirked, though his body still shook. "Then I'll make it count." Her head snapped toward him, fear flashing in her silver eyes. "No. Do not speak of it yet. You do not know what you say. The last wish defines everything." The air grew heavy. The sand around them seemed to hold its breath. Even the stars above felt closer, brighter, like silent witnesses to their growing bond. The genie stepped closer, her glow brushing against his skin like warmth. "Ethan, do not waste yourself. Do not throw your life away for something foolish." "I cannot—" She stopped herself, her voice cracking, almost breaking. "You cannot what?" Ethan asked softly. Her glow flickered violently. She turned away, her hair flowing in invisible winds. "I cannot watch you fall like the others." The words hung in the air, fragile and raw. Ethan's chest tightened, not with fear, but with something else, something human, something real. Slowly he stood, his legs shaky but steady enough. He stepped closer to her, until he was just a breath away. "Then maybe it's not me who's falling." The genie's eyes snapped to, his wide, trembling. For a moment her chains, the unseen bindings of her programming, her duty, her curse, seemed to weaken. Her voice was a whisper. "Do not say such things. I am not human. I am not meant for this." "Maybe not," Ethan said. "But you're more human than you think." The silence that followed was more powerful than any storm. It was heavy, dangerous, electric. Something had shifted between them, something neither of them could take back. The genie closed her eyes, as if struggling with herself. When she spoke again, her voice carried both warning and longing. "If you choose wrong for your last wish, everything ends, not just for you, for me as well. You could doom us both." Ethan smiled faintly, but his eyes were serious. "Or maybe I could set us both free." The genie's heart, or whatever beat inside her, raced faster than it ever had. Fear and hope battled inside her, each as dangerous as the other. And for the first time in her endless existence, she wanted something she could not name. Above them, a shooting star crossed the night sky, bright and fleeting. Ethan glanced up, then back at her, his voice steady. "Sure. When the time comes, I'll know what to wish for. And when I do, it won't just be for me." The genie shivered, her glow flickering like a candle caught between wind and flame. And deep inside, for the first time in centuries, she was afraid not of a human's greed, but of her own hope. The final wish. The desert wind howled like a warning. The sky above was thick with stars, cold and endless, but neither Ethan nor the genie noticed. They stood in silence, close enough to touch, yet separated by centuries of chains and choices. Her silver glow flickered unevenly, like a storm hidden beneath calm waters. She could feel it. His last wish pressing closer, waiting to be spoken. And with it, a truth she did not want to face. "Ethan," she said at last, her voice trembling, "you have 2 wishes behind you, and you survived where others burned. But the third—" She shook her head. "The third always destroys. It is the nature of the lamp. It is the rule of power. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Rules can be broken. Her glow flared, almost angry. Not these. Every master before you believed the same. They thought themselves clever, noble, wise. They asked for glory. They asked for mercy. They asked for more life. And all of them ended in ruin. Ethan's voice was steady, but there was steel in it. Maybe they failed because they wished for themselves. I won't make that mistake. The genie froze. Her heart, or the thing that beat like one, stuttered. What do you mean? Ethan's gaze locked on hers, unwavering. My last wish is for you. The genie's breath caught. For a moment, the desert seemed to stop. No wind, no sound. Only silence so deep it pressed on the bones. Her lips parted, but no words came. In her endless existence across countless masters, no one had ever said those words. Not once. You... Her voice broke, softer than starlight. You would waste your final wish on me? Ethan shook his head. Not waste. Free. The word struck her like lightning. No, she whispered, shaking her head. You do not understand. My freedom cannot exist. I was created to obey. If the chains break, my power will unravel. It will tear this world apart. It will tear you apart. Ethan stepped closer, his eyes fierce. Then let it. I'd rather see you free for one breath than chained for eternity. Her glow flared wildly, storms ripping through her body of light. The sand around them trembled, lifting into the air as if the earth itself feared his words. You cannot, she cried. You would destroy yourself, destroy everything. Ethan's voice was sharp, unyielding. I already destroyed myself the moment I chose truth over safety. I destroyed myself when I chose to see what no human was meant to see. Don't you get it? This was never about me. Her silver eyes burned, but not with anger, with something far more dangerous. Emotion. You fool, she whispered, her voice breaking. Why would you give your life for mine? Ethan smiled faintly. Because even a genie deserves a choice. The world erupted. The lamp in Ethan's hand burned white hot, brighter than any star. The genie screamed, her voice shaking the desert itself. Chains of pure light burst from her body, wrapping around her like serpents, pulling, resisting. Ethan held on, his body shaking, his skin seared by the lamp's glow. I wish, he shouted through the pain, that you were free. The chains cracked, the genie's form fractured into shards of light, each piece screaming against the universe's rules. She writhed, her glow tearing apart the sky. No, she cried. The wish cannot be done. But Ethan's voice cut through the chaos, raw and human and unyielding. It can, and it will. The chains shattered. The desert exploded with light. For a moment, the night sky turned into day. The dunes melted into glass beneath the power unleashed. Ethan was thrown back, his body crashing into the sand. Above him, the genie rose higher, no longer bound by the lamp. Her glow expanded, her form shifting, unstable, terrifying. She was no longer a prisoner. She was herself. Her scream turned into silence. Her glow stabilized, soft but endless, like a star reborn. She floated down, her eyes wide, shimmering with disbelief. You did it. Ethan coughed, forcing himself up on shaking arms. His lips curved into a faint smile. Told you, I'd make it count. The genie dropped to her knees before him, her voice trembling. Why? Why would you do this, knowing it would destroy you? Ethan met her gaze, his voice weak but steady. Because freedom is worth more than any wish. Her silver eyes filled with something she had never known. Tears of light. She reached out, touching his face gently. Human, she whispered, are not what I thought they were. Ethan's vision blurred, the desert fading around him. Guess we're full of surprises. The genie leaned closer, her glow wrapping around him like warmth, like safety. Ethan, Do not leave me. But his eyes closed, and the desert went silent once more. The genie knelt in the sand, holding him, glowing brighter than the stars. She was free, but freedom without him felt like chains all over again, and as her glow flickered against the endless sky, she whispered a promise. Only the stars would hear. Our story isn't finished. The resolution. The desert lay silent, the glassed sand still glowing faintly from the explosion of light. The stars above hung heavy, brighter than ever, as if the universe itself was watching. The genie knelt in the dunes, Ethan's still body resting against her arms. Her silver glow had changed. No longer the cold fire of a prisoner, no longer the weapon forged for war. She radiated freedom now, and yet she felt more bound than ever. Bound to him. Her eyes, once only light, now shimmered with something unfamiliar. Tears. Drops of silver fell into the sand, hissing as they struck, carving tiny holes that glowed like embers. You fool, she whispered, her voice trembling. Why would you give yourself for me? But Ethan did not answer. His chest rose faintly, weakly, as though the desert itself was holding on to his last breath. The genie pressed her forehead to his, her glow wrapping around him like a fragile shield. For the first time in her endless existence, she was afraid. Not of war, not of death, not of the chains she had carried, but of losing the one human who had seen her as more than a tool. The air shifted. The ground rumbled. She looked up sharply. The lamp, once her prison, lay broken in the sand. Its silver surface cracked like dry earth. But even broken, it pulsed faintly with residual power. The genie narrowed her eyes. She knew what that meant. The lamp was dying, but it still had enough energy for one last act, a choice. If she used it, she could pull Ethan back, restore him. But it would not be without cost. The lamp's final spark was unstable, unpredictable. If she touched it, she might be dragged back into chains or worse, destroyed completely. For the first time, she hesitated. Freedom was hers. At last, after endless centuries, she was free. And yet, what was freedom worth if it meant an eternity of silence without him? She looked down at Ethan's pale face, his lips curled faintly, as if even in the shadow of death, he was still stubborn enough to smirk. Her choice was no choice at all. She pressed her glowing hand against the cracked lamp. The desert erupted with silver fire once more. The ground shook, the stars quivered, and the broken lamp screamed as its last power tore itself apart. Energy flooded into her, burning, crushing, ripping at her very being. Her voice broke into the night. Take me if you must, but give him back. The lamp shattered completely, disintegrating into dust. A wave of force ripped through the desert, flattening dunes for miles, leaving silence in its wake. When the glow faded, the lamp was gone. Forever. And Ethan stirred. He coughed, gasping for air, his chest heaving. His eyes flickered open, still faintly shimmering with starlight. Confused, weak but alive. The genie knelt above him, her glow dimmer now, her body trembling. She looked at him with both relief and fear. You're alive, she whispered, her voice breaking. Ethan blinked up at her, groaning softly. Guess I don't die easy. She let out a soft laugh, though tears of light streamed down her face. She touched his cheek, her fingers warm and gentle. No, you are impossible. But beneath her smile, she felt it, the price. The lamp was gone, and with it the anchor that had held her form stable. She was fading. Her glow flickered like a candle fighting the wind. Ethan's smile faltered. He pushed himself up, panic in his voice. No, don't you dare. Don't. You fade now. She shook her head, forcing a smile through the pain. Freedom always has a cost. I gave mine for yours. Ethan grabbed her hand, gripping it tight, as if sheer stubbornness could hold her together. No, we'll find another way. I didn't set you free just to lose you. Her glow dimmed further, but her eyes locked onto his, fierce, unyielding. Listen to me, You changed me. You saw me when no one else did, and even if I fade, you gave me something I never had." "What?" Ethan demanded, his voice cracking. She leaned closer, her whisper brushing against his ear like starlight. "A choice." Her glow flared one last time, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. And then, silence. The desert was empty. Ethan fell, to his knees, the sand burning beneath him. His chest ached, his eyes burned, but his fists clenched with rage and sorrow. She was gone. Or so it seemed, but then, faintly, he heard her voice. Not in the air, not in the sand, but inside his mind. "Ethan, our story isn't finished." His head snapped up, eyes wide. Around him the stars flickered strangely, as if winking in secret. And for the first time since her disappearance, he smiled. "Then I'll find you," he whispered to the sky. "No matter where you are." The desert wind rose again, carrying his words into the night. And the universe listened.